Angela Levin, Meghan Markle went to Nigeria and she made such a big deal about the fact that now she believes she is Nigerian in some way. And she was given this title. In fact, they both were. So it was Prince Harry and Meghan.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell for updates on all things royal. Today we have a juicy story that's got everyone talking. Meghan Markle has reportedly rejected a Nigerian royal title she was given during a visit to the country, and Prince Harry is raking in millions from a company while doing practically nothing.
Adikata Kumbo, or Princess of Arachikiwa, the ancient kingdom. And at the time, Meghan made out as if she was going to use this title. She said, "I treasure the name and appreciate your trust in me to carry it with grace and dignity." But you've been looking into this, and there is now some concern that Meghan has absolutely no plans of using her Nigerian title because she's still so desperate for everyone to call her the Duchess of Sussex. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, she said she was 43% Nigerian. She had a DNA test, and
if you believe those tests, because remember she used to say she was Maltese as well.
That was her original thing, and then she said she felt she was at home. This was her home, and she was very charming, and she appreciated all that they're doing. And then she hasn't actually done one thing with that name. She could do it, and she doesn't have to use the royal name from the UK at all, and nobody will mind one bit. I'm absolutely sure of that. And if she doesn't like it, she doesn't have to use it. So she could be a princess and do whatever she wanted, a Nigerian princess, and not have to sort of build up things that she can do that she knows would upset the royal family, but actually have a country that admired her. And she's done absolutely nothing. She came home with over 20 presents, which she could take because she was no longer a member of the royal family. So she thanked them very much. I had no idea what's in them. It wasn't my business, of course. But she's not even done it once. You could think, come on, be a bit gracious. Just use it for one thing so that they can be very happy and pleased with you. But oh no, I mean, what she is always is Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. And she thinks, obviously, that having the title alongside Harry and UK title, that is much more important.
What is really going on behind the scenes? Stick around because we're about to expose all the shocking details, all right? Let's dive into Meghan Markle's recent trip to Nigeria, where she was given a royal title, the Princess of Arua from an ancient Nigerian kingdom. Now, when Meghan accepted this title, she made a big deal about it, saying she felt deeply connected to her Nigerian heritage.
It's just an interesting thing, isn't it?
Well, isn't the reality, Angela, that she has treated Nigeria in the same way that she treated the Afghan women who she was with for 10 minutes, the same 3 women, there they were in 2023 and 2024. Wasn't it just another stunt? And it doesn't matter, Angela, whether it's a charity or now a country. Meghan will say whatever is required to get positive headlines at the time, but actually not put any work on afterwards. What had she actually done for Nigeria? And I pose that as a really serious question, Angela, because the thing about royals, and you know this better than anyone, is that you should choose a few passion projects that become your life's work. So Camilla, you speak about it all the time, what she's done with domestic violence. Catherine, what she's done with early childhood. With Diana, let's be honest, she was remarkable royal in a lot of ways, but it was bulimia, it was the plight of the homeless, it was landmines. She made them all international issues. Now with Meghan, it's like, what's my project of the week to get some nice coverage in a glossy Hollywood magazine? Nothing actually comes from a place of wanting to make change. And I hope that Nigeria, because I know there were a lot of people within Nigeria warning against this visit, I hope maybe this is a warning to other countries who Meghan wants to use for a little stunt.
Well, that's very interesting you say that, because when they came back and said how wonderful it was, there was a lot of things that said that they were going to do yet another one around India before the end of the year. Do you remember that?
That hasn't
And
happened, has it?
that hasn't happened because I think they could see that it's going to cost them a fortune. And well, what's happening after that? But she does this with friends, doesn't she? I mean, this extraordinary way of hugging people and being nice to them, then boom, they've gone. You know, she doesn't want to know. And I think a lot of people now can see through that and actually are saying quite nasty things about her behavior. There's something there that she doesn't have a sort of passion. She can act it, she can say the right thing, she can make people quite happy for an hour or so, but then she vanishes. And that's for, you know, people of her own age, different countries, small children who actually, that's the interesting thing. Most small children that I see with her push her away. It's absolutely extraordinary. I always think that children have an instinct about people and they know when they're safe with an adult or not. A lot of them push her out the way. Whereas if they see Catherine, who they never know, you know, they've never known, and they're little, they dash into her arms. There's something about her that is absolutely lovable. We know that, but actually small children like that. And Meghan gets very angry. She gets that terrible anger look on her face when she being pushed away by small children. You know, who knows whether that's true or not, but we do know that she's marvelous at something and then absolutely wipes it out.
But here's the kicker. Despite all the hoopla, Meghan has not used this title once since returning to the US. She even claimed that she would carry it with grace and dignity, but now it seems like the title is just gathering dust. Why wouldn't she embrace it? Maybe it's because Duchess of Sussex still carries more weight in Hollywood circles.
I know, and I feel sorry for Nigeria. I genuinely do, Angela, because it is a country which is developing. It's got a lot of poverty. You could argue that they really needed a major figure like Meghan behind them. But the warning again that I would have posed is look at how transient she was of her support for the Commonwealth. Oh, I love the Commonwealth. I love the Commonwealth so much. I'm getting the countries all embroidered on my wedding dress, and I love this role that the Queen's given me. She didn't give a damn about the Commonwealth. In fact, quite the opposite. The moment that she had her Netflix show and had an opportunity to put the boot into Queen Elizabeth II, the Commonwealth all of a sudden was presented as some sort of colonial era ludicrous concept. So I just think people have to be very careful. If you're looking at this from a geopolitical perspective, be very careful before you try and attach Meghan to your brand, because she's got no loyalty.
Harry wasn't doing that, was he? He should have been much more careful. He was furious with William for saying, don't rush it, don't rush it, which isn't something to say, look, I hate her. It was just sensible. You know, he fell for her 100%, 150%. And you just have to think a bit longer whether it's going to be okay and try it out for longer, for goodness sake.
Oh, well, of course he should have.
He wouldn't
But, you
listen,
know,
but he
know what
hated
Harry was
William
thinking
for
about.
having said that. And of course,
Just slow
William
down.
is right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very sad.
Yeah, and it was a nice title too, this Yoruba title, Ada Kunbo. Do you know the translation, Angela, means the crown?
Yes, I treasure the name and
royalty?
appreciate your trust in me to carry it with grace and dignity. No, that was her. The translation means, sorry, the crown or royalty from a foreign land.
Yeah.
That's what it means. Yes, it was a very important and respectful name.
Yeah. But Angela, we know how Meghan operates now. mark my words, she will only be back in Colombia if there is a financial or PR motivation for her. Sorry, she'll only be back in Nigeria if there is a financial or PR motivation for her to do so. But I would say the same thing about Colombia too. So all of these foreign governments should be very, very careful. You've got your own population to focus on. You've got people who genuinely care about you. Let's consider that the priority rather than trying to boost Harry and Meghan's stock, because we all see through it anyway. But Angela, I want to ask you about another story that you've been looking into involving Prince Harry and the company that I think he given this ludicrous title. What was it? Chief Inspiration Officer or something like that for this company, Better Up, which is a mental health and coaching platform, apparently on a seven-figure salary. But now everyone's furious, Angela, because the company's in trouble. They're all being sacked. And of course, they're paying Prince Harry seemingly to do nothing.
It's all about status, right? And let's not forget, Meghan has claimed that she's 43% Nigerian after taking a DNA test. So why isn't she honouring the title she was given? If you're following the story, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments. Should she have embraced the title or stuck with her royal title? Let me know.
Yes, they are very upset with him. I mean, what Harry had to do, he was there just to advise people and he would see them. But then they gave him a boost up instead of a better up. And they said that they'd like him to have a sort of remote discussion with people like a university and do that all himself, look after the people who needed help psychologically and mentally, and do that on his own when he wants to. Well, I mean, I don't think Harry's quite the right person to do that because he hasn't sorted himself out yet. And if it's going to be a me, it's not going to be very helpful to them. But nonetheless, they paid him a seven-figure salary a year. That's over $1 million. And because of difficulties, or maybe it didn't work, staff turned on the company because 100 of them have been laid off. And they don't know what on earth Harry is doing. They said he was a distraction. I'm not sure what that means. You know, it's fun and sort of hearing jokes or what. But one of them said his responsibilities are 0 things. Now, we don't know whether that's true or not, but it's not very complimentary that he should be responsible for all this and have that sort of money. I mean, to Harry, I suppose it's very necessary and important, and nothing like having 6 million when you leave your family. But you know, it is very, very hard on the people who are struggling.
I got his title wrong, Angela. It was not Chief Inspiration Officer, it's Chief Impact Officer. But can I just be honest about this, having worked in the corporate world myself before? This is just a made-up title. It's effectively when you just want to bring someone in to be the face of your company. And more fool, better up. Because you've paid for someone to apparently be the face of a company which is meant to care about mental health and coaching, when actually, can we just look into Harry and how he cares about other people's mental health, Angela? Because he is putting his father through a whole load of mental anguish even while he is going through cancer treatment. He is putting his brother through a whole load of mental anguish and trauma even when his wife is undergoing cancer treatment. He put the late Queen through a huge amount of mental trauma in her dying days. Likewise, Prince Philip, who probably didn't give a damn, but certainly the Queen did. So isn't it just a joke? Can't we just now say it is completely ludicrous that Prince Harry should be put in on any platform as some sort of champion of mental health? Because he doesn't seem to care about anyone else's mental health, Angela. And I say that from personal experience. He only cares about his own mental health and his wife's apparent mental health issues, which no one knew about at the time.
So, what's the final takeaway from all of this? Meghan and Harry's hypocrisy is glaring, and their attempts to maintain relevance through royal titles and PR stunts are starting to fall flat. People are seeing through their actions, and the royal grift is beginning to lose steam.
I think, you see, the trouble is that some people feel they're so lucky to have a royal that they don't actually think of them as a person. It's a royal, and they think the royal, well, it will be worth it because everyone will come because we've got a royal. But you actually have to see what the royal is like, and you need to investigate as you would anyone who you wanted to take on board. And if you found out how difficult he's been as a teacher, let alone for himself and helping others, that it's absolutely absurd to take him on. And the fact that you give him masses of money and that pleases him, you think people are going to come to you in huge crowds, but it's very naive, I think. They're all people. I mean, I did quite a lot with the Royals, and I find them amazing people, and I'm very respectful towards them. But they're still people. They still feel, and they still get upset if they're told something that it hurts their heart. But actually, if you can't do that with your own family, you're not going to be able to understand loads of people going through trauma themselves. Because I think Harry does think, it's me, I'm the spare, I'm, left out, nobody teaches me properly, I'm just left. But that's not true, because if you look at William, he also suffered, and he's tried to mend himself and look for the good things. And Harry really looks for the bad things, and it's not doing him any good, but he won't let anybody free from that. So actually trying to help someone who you want to let free the agony they've had about whatever it is, you have to be okay yourself. You have to have managed it yourself, and you can then pass on your experiences. But if you can't, then you can't do that. So it's boring, and you don't want to bother that much. That's my view, maybe wrong.
No, I think you're completely right. And the thing is, Angela, isn't it about time some of these companies just learn? Because actually, you shouldn't be able to buy a royal. That's the whole point of the royal family. You can't buy King Charles or William. You could never buy the Queen. Even Princess Diana, after her divorce, never allowed herself to be bought. And they have trashed the monarchy in a way by allowing themselves to be bought. But I think maybe one of the positive things to come out of this, Angela, is that it hasn't worked. Because buying Harry and Meghan was a disaster for Netflix, for Spotify, because their boss, Bill Simmons, described them as effing grifters. Excuse my French, but that was his language about it. It hasn't worked for Netflix, Angela, who spent all of this money and actually hasn't had what they need for them. Now we learn it hasn't worked for Better Up either. So maybe it's a positive thing, actually, that you can't just buy a royal. It doesn't work that way.
What do you think will happen next for Meghan and Harry? Will they continue to hold on to their royal titles, or will their brand finally crumble? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. And remember, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more royal revelations and insider news, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.